Yes.
So, I on to the last topic.
Yeah, I've seen the video.
I did. So, what are the last topic of that
It's
MVC introduction? The bin thing, right?
yeah, bean class and get set.
Means we have to apply the bin concept inside our application, right?
Yes.
So actually, I just have an application that was it. I connect HFC bank app. Okay. Here I'm switching the workspace. Our workspace was advanced Java, right? So what is MVC?
Model view control.
Right. So basic thing why we need an MVC means MVC is model view controller, and the purpose of the application is nothing but we are separating the particular logic individually. For example, consider you have a company and the company has a company bus. So all the employees travel to the company by that single bus itself. Okay, so a small company has a particular single bus. Now, on a fine day, that bus failed, and can anyone come to office now? What will happen? All the work at the office will be getting delayed, right?
Yes.
So that is nothing but if all the employees travel with a single particular bus. Suppose the company is asking all the employees to come on vehicles. So every particular employee is coming on vehicle, okay, or other transport. Now, if a particular single employee vehicle has been failed, so only he cannot reach the office. Apart from that, all the employees can reach the office and can begin the work, right? So which is the best scenario you can say? The independent things, right? If all employees are depending on a single vehicle, then there's a problem. The same way, in our code, if you see, we have written the servlets part. Suppose I am having the HDFC Bank app. In the web content part, we have, or you can say the Java resource. The basic thing is, if I say register servlet, inside that we have the JDBC code, and we have the like transferring of the values. Then the HTML code is there. So three codes, Java code, like JDBC code, servlet code, and the HTML code. All the three codes are present in a single file, right? So
Yes.
if suppose one particular JDBC code fails, what will happen? Or if you want to change this code, if I want to change this code, then all the other files we have to change. Like the database connectivity code, if you're changing, then what will happen here in the login servlet also have to change. In the deposit servlet also have to change, right?
Yes.
So here we have a problem, right? Based on that, if you change a single file, then all the files of an application must be changed. And this is only a small project. If you consider real-time project, it's very difficult, right? But if you use that MVC concept, we separate the logics. Means in the model part, we'll have the model itself, like the JDBC code. And in the view part, we have only the JSP code, not any other particular servlet or JDBC code. You can have the Java code. Java code can be present inside a model, view or controller. It's a common thing. Java code in the sense creation of objects, calling the methods. That's a common thing. But we are separating the logic here. Okay? How we can do that? We have an MVC, like in M stands for model, V stands for view, and C stands for controller. If you see an application is there, so in this thing we have a controller. The controller is controlling both the view part, and along with the view part it's controlling the model part. Okay, view and the model, and the database code will be there, like the database part will be there. Along with that, this is a client. So client is trying to access. So here we have a client and we have a controller. We have a model, or you can say view, that is a JSP part. Controller is nothing but a servlet, and here model is nothing but the bin class. And now if you see, the client request is sent to the servlet controller. Controller can either transfer to the view, or you can return back to the control servlet controller. And again, the same thing can be given to the model, and model is trying to access the database, or whatever that model has given can be again given to the particular JSP pin, you can say, right? So what's the controller? It's giving and taking. So here controller is nothing but a servlet itself, and inside a servlet we just need to write the servlet code. What is the servlet code here? Request.get parameter, right? And that here Java code integer.parse into the Java code, it is allowed. The request dispatcher is the particular code. What is the code, you can say? It's nothing but the servlet code, right? So this is the thing which must be allowed, not the JDBC code, not the HTML code. Okay. Now how to overcome this? We are using the MVC part. We are differentiating the things. We differentiate the files. Okay. Already we have seen the bin class, the bin properties. What are the bin properties? Java bin class we can write, right? So based on how many properties we have to write it? Nafi, tell the answer.
Sir, can you repeat the question?
Bin class. How to write the bin class?
Uh,
Like in the yesterday's video, we had this thing, like in that you had the bin introduction,
yeah.
how to write a bin class, the get property, set property, methods are there.
Yeah.
Suppose I'm just deleting a project, I'm trying to import a new one which has the MVC code. The same code is there, just in this MVC has been applied. So what is bin class means? Simple thing. Inside the Java resource, the bin class has to follow few particular rules. What is it? If I have the register bin, it should have a package. The package name is there. Okay, we can create a package, and along with the package, it should have a particular class which must be public, and it requires the variables, and the variables can be private or normal. Okay, and after this variables we need to write the setter and getter methods. We have this setter and getter methods, right? Setter means set username and the username. How to differentiate the instance variable and the local variable are same? Then we use this.
Yeah.
So this dot username equals to username, right?
Yeah.
Now, after the setter and getter methods, a class can also implement serializable. What do you mean by serializable? Serializable is nothing but a interface which converts a class primitive values into objects. That's the reason we need to use that serializable interface. Okay, and
Okay.
here the bin class also contains the private variables. You can see, if you want, you can declare the variables as private, so we can access by using this particular class object itself. We cannot access in the other classes, right? So here the private things. And if you say, if you want to understand how to generate setter and getter methods, simple thing, select all the variables, right click on it, say source, inside the source generate the getter and setter methods, select
Select all. Hello.
web servlet. According to the annotation, it will execute the particular class. Inside that, I am retrieving the values from the HTML. I have retrieved the values. Request.get parameter username, request.get parameter password, and email request.get parameter email. So phone, parse long the particular get parameter, then parse int get parameter of amount, right? So we retrieve all the values from the HTML to the servlet. Then we can use a register bin class which has a setter and getter methods to set the username password values. Okay, so if I change that particular names also, then here it won't affect the code, right? So now what is the next thing you can say? The calling of the methods is based on a register bin object. After calling these things, we call a check register. Check register whether its values are inserted or not. So in the register bin, we have a method. What is that method? Check register. If the check register method is executed, again we have one more class known as register DAO. So inside the model, we have only the bin class. Then what about the database connectivity code? How to retrieve the values, how to send the values? We have a particular DAO, register DAO, data access object. We are accessing the object. Means the database connectivity code and the connection code is inside a method. What is that method? GetCon. And what database you are connecting? Oracle. Suppose in future, if you want to change the database code, directly you can change inside this particular method. That's it, right? For all the particular classes, you don't have to change separately. Now, after getting the connection, we need to send the values in the table, HDFC table, with 6 values. So previously what you used to do in register servlet only, we used to write the ps dot set string or the insert command. But now I'm using the register DAO. And inside the register DAO, how to access the values, we have already set using the username, set password. These values are in the register bin. So by using the register bin object here, we can send the values, right? So rb dot get username, or you can say username or get username, both the things are same. And by sending these values, the record has been inserted. And if it is true, it will return true. Okay. So where it is going, register DA to register bin. So register DAO and register DAO has its true. If it is true, it will be transferred to the particular servlet. And inside the servlet, if it is true again, then request.get request dispatcher login.html is getting executed. Okay. So in this format, you can see that values are being transferred from model to that particular DAO, and DAO again back to the model bin and bring to the servlet code, right? And if you want, the login.html code will get executed. The same thing you can do it inside a JSP also. So you can send the values directly using the bin class or the particular DAO class. DAO is nothing but interact with the database. The database access object, you can say. Okay. The same code you need to write inside your HDFC bank app. So you have done this thing till now, right? So I'll execute the application directly now. HDFC bank app is there. Right click, run as, run on server. Next thing will be there, finish. After finishing, it will run the application. So the same HDFC bank app, right? Now register. Register with a new name. Then what you can say, Pradeep. Pradeep. So Pradeep, gmail.com 9989, account number and the amount 34,000. Just register. You got that username, password and everything, right? So now you can access that directly. Pradeep. So once you log in, like, it got direct to the login page, because we haven't written for the login part, right? We just wrote for the registration part. So the registration part has been done directly. Okay. The same thing you can apply for the other logics. What are the other logics? You can say the login servlet, we need to get the username and password from the database. So get username and set the password, right? Set username and set password has been set. Now we have to check the login. Where the check login has been written? In the login bin, I guess. So open the MAC. So we are writing the database connectivity code directly here, right? Where the username and password is there. We are sending the username and password directly. That's the reason it's not getting executed. So what you have to do, write one more thing. Okay, in that try to send the values like DAO, login DAO. In the login DAO, we write the database connectivity code, and by using the login bin, we can send the values similar to what we have done inside the register DAO. And the register DAO got executed. Okay, understood this part till now?
Yes.
So the thing is, MVC is like you're writing that individual code in all the files. In register servlet, you'll never see the JDBC or the HTML code now. And inside the register bin, you'll never see the servlet code or the HTML code. And instead register DAO, you'll see only the database code. The prepared statement, the class.funname, driver manage.get connection. The same thing will be seen for the entire particular class. Okay, so that's the MVC part. So once you are done with that MVC, then you can see the next part will be the framework. Okay,
Yeah.
so we need to start the framework class. And what is the frameworks we have? We have the Hibernate framework and the Spring framework, right? So once you complete the MVC application, you'll understand a little bit of what we are doing inside the Hibernate framework. Okay,
Yeah.
so any doubts in the register bin or the register DAO?
No.
Just we have executed that and we have stored the values using this MVC part, right?
Yes.
Any doubts, Nafi?
No. No, sir.
Deepti, you have any doubts? Now, if you see the things like the next part will be Hibernate. The drawbacks of JDBC are being overcome by the Hibernate. What are the drawbacks you can say? If you write this command, this is database dependent. This thing, like here, few commands inside that particular Oracle cannot be executed inside the MySQL. Like we have a procedures in the Oracle which are not supported by MySQL, right? So it is what JDBC is a database dependent language, whereas Hibernate is a database independent language. Okay,
Okay.
so what we will do in the same application where you have written the register servlet and the register bin and the register DAO, right? Instead of register DAO, we'll see the Hibernate code. Okay,
Okay.
but before seeing the Hibernate code inside this, like we'll remove the JDBC. See, this is the only file which has have the JDBC code, right? Are we
Yes.
seeing the JDBC code inside the bin? No.
No.
Inside the register servlet? No. Inside the JSP? No. That's the MVC part. So if I just change this DAO from JDBC to Hibernate, then it is database independent. We can write any particular command in any particular database. For that, we use a HQL, Hibernate Query Language. So what is that Hibernate Query Language also we'll see. Okay.
Okay.
So shall we start Hibernate from tomorrow or Monday?
Tomorrow? Today?
Fine. So tomorrow at 8 a.m. IST, is it fine?
8 a.m. Okay. It's okay.
Fine then. So tomorrow 8 a.m. IST, I'm just starting the Hibernate framework class. Okay.
Okay.
Only for tomorrow. Only for tomorrow it's 8 a.m. Right?
Okay. Hey.
And try to upload the video if you
Okay.
have just the things like what is it register DO and register bin and the register servlet we are doing,
Mhm.
or else I'll have another video. I'll just try to upload the things. Okay,
Okay.
fine. So do the application, and tomorrow we'll start the Hibernate class.
Okay. So this is the only MVC, sir. MVC is done.
Come again?
This is the only part of MVC. Our MVC is done.
Yeah, like the same thing you have to write for all the classes. If I say login bin,
Okay.
again you need to change this thing inside a login DAO, and you need to call the methods.
Okay.
So whatever the logic is there, for that logic you need to write the bin part, and for the bin you'll have a particular DAO. So we'll just segregate all the files separately.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Fine.
So the application, see, any particular thing we have registration and login, right?
Yes.
The same thing, registration login code, if you change, you will be able to change any code, right? So you
Yeah.
need to try it with the deposit now. I've done it for register and login.
Yeah.
You do it for deposit now. So we have deposit servlet, and we have the withdrawal
Yeah.
inquiry. For all the things you try to apply this MVC part. Okay,
Okay. Okay.
MVC is nothing but we don't write any new logic here.
Okay. You
We
separate.
just,
Yeah.
yeah, we are separating. How to separate? You have to understand that how many variables are required. All the variables, like the table columns, right? The table
Yeah.
variables only. The
Yeah.
table variables we have here, right?
Yeah.
And from this we need to store. And in the deposit also, you don't write a separate thing.
Hmm.
Already we have the account number and amount here, so you can create register bin object and store the account and the amount. Then we'll write a separate DAO class, that's it. And in the DAO we write that deposit logic.
Yes. To retrieve from
Any
database.
confusion?
Yeah.
So every logic is same. See, we have written the same thing inside the register servlet directly. If you see that thing, I'll just show you the things. So when you have that C drive, Tomcat, web app, we have the HDFC Bank app. In the WebINF classes is there. The register servlet. We used to write the same insert command, right?
Yeah.
But directly the variable values in the servlet. What we have done, we are writing a DAO and a method. Inside that method, we are calling the particular insert into HDFC. Okay,
Yeah.
and then this is separated. Like we are removing this entire code with a simple logic like register bin, which will store the values,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
And from the register bin, the values are retrieved by the DAO.
Okay.
And this MVC is not useful for you because we use Spring Hibernate MVC. That is the important thing in the industry, right?
Okay.
Where this DAO is replaced with the Hibernate code and the
Yeah.
servlet is replaced with the Spring code. So we'll see
Okay.
that also. In
Okay.
the same application, I'll see the Hibernate. In the same application, we'll see the Spring also.
Okay. Sir, this is a web application, right?
Yeah.
So do we have any like without web like in .NET we have console applications?
But now, presently, we don't use the control application in the industry. We use a website for
That's it.
any particular code. Like we don't
Okay.
have product based companies. Like now everything is changing to online transaction,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
If a company is there, they are trying to have like online transaction.
Okay.
And in US or Canada, like you have insurance companies mostly. So
Yeah.
insurance required the site to be maintained. And you have service based
Hmm.
or development. Mostly you'll get the service based. Already the application will be developed. You
Okay.
need to handle the breakdowns or the some issues will be there because no application is perfect.
Okay.
So they'll have them some ups and downs. You need to check that code, and you won't write the
Okay.
own logic entirely.
Okay.
They'll having some like previously 1.5 or 1.6 JDK must be used,
Uh-huh.
like JBoss they might have used, and they will ask you to migrate that application into Tomcat or WebLogic. So the
Okay.
migrating of the code also requires some knowledge.
Okay.
So as you're developing the application now, the
Yeah.
same thing you won't do it in the industry. We
Okay.
will be having the application, either we migrate, or if the service based is there, we
Mm.
try to give the service, or
Update.
in a rare scenario, development company is there, and you need to develop a code means, then you will start these things like writing the DAO and everything. Okay,
Okay. 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 Fine.
so mostly service based companies will be there, whatever you will be applying.
Okay.
And already the project would have been started, or it's in the middle, or it's
Yeah.
at the ending, because project minimum takes 3 years or 5 years, like time, and no one sits in a single project for that much time. 6 months,
Okay.
1 year, 2 years, a part, single part will be given to you. They'll give
Okay.
you the document first. You need to learn the document,
Okay.
see the application requirements
Okay.
until what the application has been completed. Then what's your role? The manager will ask you to develop this part. That's it. He'll just give that, uh, take these values and
Yeah.
store in the database, or retrieve the values and do some transaction and check whether it's done properly or not. The
Okay.
transaction part is not working, or the logging part is not working. So issues might be given.
We have to fix it.
Those are, yeah.
Mm. Okay.
So you have a lot of variations in the market. You don't
Okay.
directly do the simple things. Okay,
Okay. Okay. Fine.
fine. So you will do the deposit thing then?
Yeah, I will try. I'll try my best.
Yeah. Based on that, tomorrow 8 a.m. IST will start the Hibernate class. Okay?
Okay. Fine. Thank you.